Motivation comes and goes, but consistency and discipline is what makes our bodies move forward to our goals. Today on Daily Reset, kickboxing coach Amal Albahar is going to talk to us about how consistency is what gets us to our goals and improves our bodies and minds. I'm your host Abdulaziz Ismail, and we're going to take a small break and start our conversation right afterwards. Stay tuned. Hello and welcome back, dear viewers. We are back from our break with our esteemed guest, kickboxing coach Amal Albahar. Welcome again to the show, Amal.
Thank you for having me.
It's always a pleasure to have you on our show. Now, motivation, consistency. We've spoken before in our previous encounter about consistency. However, we need to highlight more on the importance of it and what it can do to us. A lot of people, when somebody suggests to them, oh, why don't you work out? Why don't you start that business? Why don't you keep going on that hobby of yours? There's always that response, I don't feel motivated. How do you respond to that?
Motivation, relying on motivation, at least for the beginning, is okay. It gives you that boost. I think it's finding that motivation, like once you set a new goal for yourself, like, oh, I want to lose a few kilos. That could be a short-term goal you can have that can make you motivated for the first time, the first part of
beginning of your journey.
Beginning of it.
Okay.
Getting serious about it, actually setting time for it. It's not something that's an aftermath.
Okay.
Fitness cannot be something that, oh, when I have the time, I'll do it. It'll never work.
It doesn't work like that.
Won't. You might be able to do it once, twice, but you're not going to be consistent because it's not an important part. It can't be treated like as a hobby. You need to be serious about it. Once you make that commitment, motivation comes when you first make the commitment. The danger of motivation, the relying on motivation, is relying on it throughout, because it's not going to be there.
It's not lasting.
It's not lasting.
It definitely gives you that initial spark.
Yeah.
Sort of that first stepping stool towards your goal, but that's eventually going to fade out. And then sort of reality hits. It's either going to continue with your discipline or you're going to fall and fade just like the motivation did.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly,
Yeah.
yes. Also, when you create, it can be as simple as I bought new clothes for the gym. I think creating some kind of newness, approaching it with fun in mind, not as this is going to be torture. Starting with something that you like. Some people like to go to, I don't know, swimming classes. Some people like to go to dance class. Some people like to go to kickboxing. How I started, where I just wanted to know how. Literally, I just went into it trying to learn how to punch, and that became the beginning of my fitness journey.
That was the motivating spark, so to speak.
Yeah, I think making it fun in the beginning, it's not always going to be fun, but you can't start with it thinking of it as it being a torture or something serious. Fitness can be fun.
Okay.
You can have fun with it. That can help you start. That afterwards, the commitment part comes in. I think you just need that spark, that energy, that engine that gets you going. Surrounding yourself with people who like movement, whether it's finding a community like a run club or any sort of community. Having people around you actually who like to move and who have a similar goal helps you
keep going.
Keep going.
Like,
create that.
Surrounding yourself with like-minded people.
Exactly.
That's going to help you stay on the path and actually continue and hopefully reach your goals.
Exactly.
Now, once again, in our previous encounter, we sort of talked about how you have to prep yourself mentally and then it'll manifest physically and therefore improve you mentally. It's a circle. Once again, it's a cycle that goes back into the initial stepping stool that builds it once again. A lot of people may say, might say and argue against that, and they say, oh, I always find the motivation, I'm always motivated. While others would say that, oh, I'm disciplined, I'm gonna see this through, I'm gonna get it done, I'm gonna follow each and every step. It begs that question, what is the difference between motivation and discipline?
Motivation is like that, you know, when you have like coffee and you feel like that caffeine boost?
Yes.
That's motivation. It's like a spark. It's like, yes, I want to do it right now. Discipline is kind of like grinding through it. When you're in the middle of something, you're just sticking to it, whether you like it or not, regardless of feelings. You just do it. You turn off that
Emotional side.
Emotional, yeah, that exactly. It's not whether you're in the mood or not. It's like a soldier kind of.
Okay.
You just do what you need to do. It's like your orders you need to fulfill. That's the way I view discipline. However, motivation and discipline, again, are both temporary or short-lived.
Both of them.
Both of them.
Okay.
Discipline is a good. They're all tools. However, for me, commitment is, I would say, the overall the umbrella. Once you have commitment, it makes all these things. It helps, like using motivation as a tool, discipline as a tool, to help you through your routine, to help you stick to your fitness routine. That's where the real key comes in.
Okay.
Because I think when you rely, discipline is such a powerful tool, but each person is different. So for me, for example, because I'm an overthinker, okay, I'm constantly thinking of things, I'm constantly researching, I'm constantly
doing something. You have a project going on.
Exactly. So discipline is like fuel. I will go through it very fast, but once I don't have the discipline, what is there to rely on?
Right.
What is, but again, making it second nature, making it part of your routine, making it a commitment, reminding myself of the ultimate goal, having people around you that as I mentioned, I was struggling recently I was getting bored of my routine, and I was kind of I was not complaining, but I was talking to a colleague of mine, and Coach Ahmed Jamal. He reminded me, like, you need to have an ultimate goal. Remember why you're doing this. Remember who you're doing it for. You're doing it for yourself. And he gave me that pep talk. Sometimes having someone to give you that pep talk, or maybe it helps so much. It helps remind you, because sometimes we're just so into what we're doing next. We're not seeing any progress, but when you look back, you realize, oh, I've come so far. Because the thing about fitness, it's not always instantaneous.
Okay.
It requires time for you to see the progress, and it requires you, because we live in such a fast-paced life, so we're used to, social media, whatever it is, we need things, information. If you want information, it's at the tip of our hands. It's right there. Anything we want, it's right there, in front of you.
Everything is so much more accessible than before.
It's not only accessible, I think our attention span
has shortened. Absolutely.
So you need to
filter out what you actually need, because there's a lot of information that could potentially cloud your main goal and what you need to get to your main goal.
Exactly. And you need to practice patience in seeing the results of those goals. I think it's okay to have mini goals. I think sometimes motivation can come from mini goals. So for example, I want to be able to plank for X amount of time. That can be a mini goal.
Okay.
And it can help you with committing to your fitness.
To your fitness goals, and just any goal really in life. It is definitely a powerful tool. Now we're going to take a small break, and then we'll continue right afterwards. Dear viewers, we're going to take a small break, and then we'll continue our conversation right afterwards. Stay tuned. Welcome back, dear viewers. We continue our conversation with Coach Amal Albahar. Hello again. Now, you're a kickboxing coach and you have experience dealing with people who have different mentalities, different motivations, different goals, different levels, so to speak. Like your students, how do you deal with them when they come into you and they're like, oh, coach, I don't feel like working out today. I feel discouraged. How do you keep them how do you support them to continue being consistent?
As a coach, it's my job to try to help the people, help people to navigate their fitness journey, to help them. They're doing the work at the end of the day, but I'm just guiding them. Sometimes that needs more emotional support than actually supporting them through the workout. So the first thing I always ask, how are you feeling today? If you're physically tired, so if someone hasn't slept well or they're busy or whatever, I know how to push them. I don't push them
too much,
surpass to the limit of what they can handle today. Yes. And this is something I do for myself. I think that's more of a reminder. I do a little check-in, how are you feeling today? Are you not feeling motivated? And if they feel like I don't see results, I show them. For example, if they do an exercise, I'm like, remember when you couldn't do this? Remember when you could do less of this? Remember when you increased your weights? Do you remember where you came from? Sometimes it's so easy to get lost in what we need to do, and we compare ourselves to others, oh, this person's ahead in their journey, and as I say, comparison is the thief of joy, and I think that robs us of the achievements that we've made.
Definitely robs us from looking at our own achievements and the journey we're going through.
Exactly. It's a very slow. Sometimes you see things, especially in the beginning, when someone first goes into fitness, they see results on a week, depending on how much they're committing their time to, but they can see results on a weekly basis, on a bi-weekly basis, on a monthly basis. But then you reach a certain point, so this is where commitment comes in. You reach a certain point where I don't see as much change as before. I don't think I'm progressing. So I remind them, no, it's okay. It's because it's a new thing, so your body is learning to adapt. Once it's adapting, the progress is not going to be as fast as it was before, and that's okay. It doesn't mean that you're not doing well or you're not progressing. It's just progressing at a slower rate than.
It seems like they need a better understanding of how the process actually goes, because the body needs to adapt in order for it to actually show results or even start to show results.
Exactly.
Now, I feel like that's what happens mostly with somebody who's so motivated in the beginning. And it makes me want to ask you that what happens psychologically to somebody who starts extremely strong, they're going strong, I'm going to do this. It's me against the world. I'm gonna win this. I'm gonna get this done. I'm gonna get to my summer body. I'm gonna start that business, and then they just give up quickly. What happens psychologically to them?
See, I actually get those are some of my favorite clients that I come across, because they have so much spunk in them and they want to take on everything. Here, I would say it's so easy for people like that. It's so easy to take on more than they can handle, and it becomes increasingly hard. And so that's when they rely on discipline to just power through it. But you want to work smart, not hard.
Okay.
So my job as a coach is to keep that motivation. I would by no means want to dampen the motivation, because it's actually a really good fuel, so to say.
It's a good starting spark.
Very good starting spark, and it can take them people like that can be committed for a bit longer. So I help them navigate in a way where making sure that they're not taking on more than they can do.
Okay.
Making sure to slow down. Rest is equally as important as actually the workout. So some people think fitness is just go, but no, rest, nutrition, hydration. You need that for your body to recover, to be able to handle tomorrow's activities, to be able to handle the next step. So for me, so that they don't
overdo themselves.
overdo themselves or get into like crash into a wall where I physically like
Cannot do this anymore.
cannot do this, or they might even get into they might get injured because they're taking on so much, and they're forced to take a step back because their body needs to recover physically.
Absolutely.
So remind them like, okay, it's okay to go in, but like just a reminder,
Take it easy
take
today.
it easy, let's try this. Educate them
Okay.
on the importance of rest, but knowing when your body needs rest and when you can just power through, like knowing that difference is key.
Absolutely. Now, I'm glad that you mentioned taking a step back and actually recovering, so to speak. It begs the question, what happens to our motivation once we go in there, but it's just lack of nutrition, lack of sleep, and that, motivation can be a double-edged sword, but it's also very important. It definitely sets the tone for the upcoming journey. But if I'm going there, lack of sleep, I'm not eating well, I'm not well fed, I'm not eating nutritional meals, what's going to happen to my motivation?
You're basically setting your body up for failure.
Okay.
You can't drive a car without proper fuel. You can't expect your body to keep doing what it's doing if it doesn't have the necessary nutrition or rest that it needs. So it can, in terms of motivation, I think it can be a bit discouraging, like, and get into like, people might even feel frustrated, like, why is my body not able to do this? No, I need to power through. And that's where they're like, go, and that's again where
that's the mistake that a lot of people do, it seems like.
And then they may be even injury prone to injuries, and we don't want to get into that territory, because that actually it sets them back.
Okay.
Rather than progressing, it actually damages.
It's more of a setback.
It's a huge setback.
Okay.
I think you cannot outrun or outwork a bad diet.
Okay.
Nutrition is key. I think understanding what nutrition is, because there's a lot of information out there about bread being bad, about this being not healthy. I think
it's easy to get it mixed up, right?
It's easy to get misinformation, I would say. Understanding what nutrition is, and simplifying it. Maybe seeking out a nutritionist to help you guide your way, or maybe it's, again, we have a lot of information at our fingertips. Trying to do your own research. I educate my clients. I'm not a nutritionist, however, I encourage my clients to do their research, and I educate them on what nutrition is. And you cannot just focus on calories, for example. You need to eat. You cannot undereat, because that is something it's
going to pull you back for sure.
Exactly.
Yes. Nutrition is definitely important, not only for the physical body, but for the mental health as well. And like you said, it's proper fuel for us to keep going and achieving our goals. Now, that's extremely eye-opening for a lot of people who think that powering through is the key. We're going to dive deeper into the subject once we return after this break. Dear viewers, don't go away just yet. We're going to take a small break and continue right afterwards. Stay tuned. Welcome back, dear viewers. We continue our conversation with Coach Amal Albahar. Welcome again. Before we went on our break, we were talking about proper nutrition, proper rest, and how that can actually set us up for success. And if we don't actually have the proper tools, the aforementioned proper tools, it can set us up for failure. Now, failure, it's interesting. A lot of people hate failure, but I feel like in certain situations, failure can actually set us up for long-term success. Have you seen that based on your experience, or how can you explain such situation?
Failure is basically feedback. It's not bad or good. It's not I failed, I cannot do this, and that's where failure can be a tool. It can give you feedback. Oh, this didn't work, let me try something else. In fitness, for example, or in kickboxing, when you're learning a certain technique, your mind knows it before your body. So
Interesting.
that's so you can see how, for example, a punch is being thrown. You can see the technique. Someone can teach it to you, but you need to practice for you to be able to do it properly. And there's going to be many failures along the way. And these failure and success is basically feedback. Failure can be an extremely strong tool for you to be able to better yourself, better your movement, learn, increase your learning, increase your skill set, because it tells you what not to do. So, you know what I mean? So
It's like gaining experience and benefiting from it, then you build up from that failure.
exactly. So failure is not it's not a personal thing, like you're not worthy. A lot of people, me myself included, associate worthiness to failure. Oh, I'm not good. No, it's not that you're not good. It's that this thing you're doing just didn't work. So let's try something else. Let's try another technique. Let's try a different way. When I first started coaching, I think I learned a lot from the people I'm coaching with. Their so-called failures when they weren't, it can be as simple as a jump rope. Jump rope is a big part of kickboxing. It helps cardiovascular movement and all of that. So jump rope is it's a simple movement, but it's hard to learn if you don't know how to do it. So I was teaching someone jump rope the other day, and they're like, no, I don't know how to do it. I simply cannot know. I don't know how to do it.
They sort of set themselves up for failure because they put that mentality with it.
That's it. But so when they start jumping, they may jump once, twice. On the third time, they're not able to. They get tangled up and like, see, coach, I don't know how to do it. No. That's not because you don't know how to do it. Let's try it this way. Turn your feet this way.
Let's fix your technique. Maybe that
technique, exactly. And that way, what they're using those so-called failures to better their movement, to better their technique, and be able to achieve the goal of like jump rope in this case. And it can be translated to many things in life and in fitness. So
it's a lesson learned for sure, and it's something that we better ourselves from learning what we did wrong in that situation, and then we evolve from it.
exactly.
Now, discipline, once again, very powerful, very important in whatever journey we're going through. Some people need some time to pick up that skill, being disciplined. Now, what are some of the daily rituals or habits that we can build up that'll make us more disciplined?
So a daily habit, I think, creating a structure in your day that's realistic, that helps you stick to whatever routine that you want to do. Let's say for example, I want to commit to me as a coach. I'll talk about my talk with me. My schedule varies.
Okay.
I work in shifts, so sometimes I come in the morning, in the evening. So for me to focus on my own nutrition and on my own fitness routine, I need that discipline to stick to it. Because it's easy to be like, oh, I'm busy, oh, I'm tired, so I'm not going to do it today. So one thing that allows me to stick with it is being realistic with the time that I have, and being able to be disciplined enough to follow through. Discipline is, again, a tool. It is not something you need to heavily rely on, because you have so much. It's a limited. There's a limit to how much discipline you can have during the day. For example, so let's say I need to do my half-hour workout or 1-hour workout. So discipline comes in. Okay, before work, I'll wake up earlier, have whatever food I need to have, whatever breakfast I need to have, so I can go to the gym, do my workout, And that's where discipline comes in. I'm committed to it, and discipline helps me follow through. However, if I want to stick to a certain nutrition, so I want to stay away. I'm someone who loves sweets. I love chocolate. I still include it part of my nutrition, part of my food, because it makes me happy, but I limit it.
Okay.
However,
You're being real with yourself. You're being realistic.
I'm being realistic. I want to work with my body, not against. It's something that I enjoy. Why not make it part of my nutrition, but not a big part of my nutrition, like a little treat.
To just satisfy your cravings.
Exactly. However, if I'm sitting in a room full of chocolates and in front of me, it's really hard to practice that discipline. So I make sure that I don't have these snacks around me. I make sure that I don't have the junk food, so that when my discipline fuel runs out, I'm not going into this snack box, and I'm relying just purely on that. So I think also structuring your day to help yourself follow that routine is something that for me personally helped me and has helped others.
Okay. It's definitely a good way to start building good habits.
Definitely.
Therefore, becoming more disciplined and then acquiring that skill as second nature.
Mm-hmm.
Now, some people, once again, it's difficult. It's a difficult skill to acquire based on what I've perceived. So what is your advice for somebody who keeps starting over and over and over?
So I think for someone who keeps starting over, there's something not working. Again, we go back to the topic of failure.
Tweak your technique a little bit.
So there's something that's failing. There's something that's not working. So what is it? Is it that you're not committing to it? Is it that you don't see it as important? Maybe you don't see this as important. So remove it from your routine or add it to your routine. Maybe it's something that you're trying to force a routine that's not part of, that doesn't work with your schedule right now. Like, for example, I have one example is of a client. She was saying that I used to have a very good nutrition. I was able to stick to my routine, but since she graduated from university and now she's into the working, she's saying it's difficult. Like, it's whatever I used to do is not working anymore. Of course not working, because your life changed, your routine has changed. You can't expect your old techniques to work on your new routine. So you need to adapt. I think being able to adapt to being real with yourself, being realistic, and being able to adapt with what you have is key.
Absolutely. And we've highlighted a lot on the importance of discipline and consistency. It's definitely a great and solid stepping stool for success. Unfortunately, today our time has come to an end. I want to personally thank you for being with us today, Coach.
Thank you very much.
Dear viewers, there you have it. Kickboxing coach Amal Albahar explaining the importance of consistency and discipline. It's not just motivation that'll get you going, but you need to be disciplined and consistent. This has been Daily Reset. Take a breath and reset.